Hello my crafty friends. Well, I thought it was time we did a few more Christmas bits. Yes, it's coming up towards the end of October, so we need to be starting to think about Christmas. Christmas makes if you're going to be selling them, makes if you've got to be sending them and sending them off somewhere. How about this one? Have yourself a merry little Christmas. All about colouring with alcohol pens on the back of your vellum. I love this, just a nice little decoration on there just to add a bit of interest. I hope you like this. I'm going to show you how it's done now. I've shown you this technique of using alcohol pens on vellum before, but I wanted to incorporate it into today's project. So I thought it's time we go back to doing a bit more Christmas. So this is what I might do, a couple of, I don't know, half a dozen, if that, projects over the next week or two, focusing on Christmas. So for the first one, I'm going to be doing alcohol pens on vellum to create a lovely background. I've got a whole sheet of A4. Now what you could do here is you could trim it down to what you wanted, or you could actually do enough to make quite a few projects in one go. So all I'm going to do is, the other thing before I go any further, the other thing you need for this is your isopropyl alcohol. Now this is a 99.9% alcohol. You can find it on Amazon and all those. If I can find the link, I'll put that on. Make sure you use that in a well ventilated room. So all I'm going to do is alcohol pens. I'm just going to scribble on my vellum. So you can go as large as you want. Like I said, you know, you can get a few projects out of this. Put that onto there. Then I'm going to grab my isopropyl alcohol. I always keep it shut in between. And I've got a dropper. Now this dropper isn't the best. It does leak a bit. So what I do is I put some in and get rid of quite a lot. Oh, that's a bit too much out. So you can see I've only got a little bit in the end. I'm just going to move that to one side because it does sort of drip. And then all I do is I touch it. Put a dropper on, however your dropper works. I know this dropper. Put that on. Now I'm using isopropyl alcohol. If you used your blending solution, you blend the colours. I left that a bit long, didn't I? It started to bleach it out. So what it does is it moves the ink. If you use your blending solution, it blends the ink. So you need to make sure you use the right one. And you can see that started to move. Not very well yet, but don't worry about that. We'll get there. Then I'm going to come in with my red. Now it does dry very, very quickly. So let's put in a bit of red. I'm sure there's some purists out there sort of shouting, Corrine, no, you don't do it like this. You do it however it works for you, honestly. So then I'm going to come there. Like I said, remember to make sure you've got ventilation for this. I'm going to pop a little bit of alcohol onto there and then get those moving nice and quickly. You can see that blend. So I want to start to blend them into each other. Now, if you can let the colours dry in between, you're not going to get a brown mush. I wasn't going to do it in red. I was going to do yellows and greens. Oh well, this is Christmassy. So then I'm going to come in with some yellow. I've got another one finished that's all yellows and greens. We can have a look at that one in a minute. Come in with the yellow in a minute now. Just filling in some of the gaps. I do find I tend to go round. I play with this for quite a while. Now you can be creating all sorts of gorgeous shapes. I've seen some people that make flower effects. You can be doing all sorts. I wanted this to sort of be that sort of random graffiti-ish effect, if that makes sense. So I can blow it onto the alcohol. If you want, you can have the pens just a bit more left where they are. But look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. Look at those colours playing together. Let's go in with a bit more green. As long as you're going in where it's dry, the pens will work. If you try and go on top of the alcohol, the pens just sort of bleach out. It just bleaches it off the pen. So just pick bits where it has dried. You can, in fact, go in with two colours. I'm using the brush pens just for speed. You can use just your regular tri-blends. You can use any of your alcohol pens. I just like the brush nib because it gets it down a bit quicker. There we go. Just putting that on there. And then blending it out. Oh, I didn't put the alcohol on the green, did I? Put it a bit more. There we go. You see, there's nothing fancy. And don't worry if you've got some darker bits, because that'll really work. And then you just blow that up. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Now that'll dry really quickly. Ever so quickly. There we go. I can just see a little gap. I'm just going to go in with my yellow. And I probably don't even really need to blend. That's it. It doesn't hurt if it's a solid bit, because you'll see in a minute what we're going to do. I just would rather not have white bits. Now, the other thing I quite like to do is, stepping away from the pens, is I've got my alcohol inks, and I've got a few that have got the gold mica in. Just give it a tap, otherwise it just all clumps on the bottom. So I can then add in this, and this is going to add layers. It's going to add depth. So I can pop a little bit on here. I do find that the dropper can clog a bit with the mica. But don't worry about that. I can sort out that big blob in a minute. So if I had more, look at that. Look at it. Can you see how it starts to move? Especially the inks, the mica, with the ones with the mica. Absolutely amazing. And I really want those to sort of be veiny. Now remember, this we're creating layers. So this is actually going to be the back. I know that's a massive blob of gold, but don't worry, we're doing layers. And this is the reverse. So don't panic. Really, the isopropanol really does make it move. Now it's not going to move that much without a blower. You can do it. You can do a blower like I've got. You could use a straw. You can use an electric blower. It's entirely up to you. So that has moved beautifully. Oh, it's still a little bit damp. Let's get those. Now what you can do then is you can take your heat gun very gently. Now I've got the wrong heat gun really for this. You want one of those hairdryer style ones, and just dry it off. It's on vellum. I've got two reasons I need to be careful. One, it's on vellum, so the vellum will cockle and, well, basically will melt. And also I don't want the inks to burn, so just do a little bit of heat on there. But what I would tend to do is just leave this to dry. You see it's drying quite quick. I'm just trying to give it an extra little boost. There you go. Right. And that, we're going to use the opposite side. And look at that. Can you see just getting that hint of gold? Now you could be using that side. I want to show you one that I've already done. Look at this. This hasn't got any gold in it, but I do like the colours, and I do feel it's quite Christmassy. But I might actually go in with a few little drops of gold, because you can reactivate it. It's not a problem. Let's see if I can go a few little drops of gold in here. Really keep it quite fine. Let's do. I do like these greens. I wanted to show you this one because I wanted to be able to show a contrast. There you go. Just get that gold moving around. They reactivate really easily. Just dry that a little bit. Okay, you see that vellum's just trying to crinkle up, but how about that? And then obviously on that side, now what we're actually going to do is we're going to put it onto white. So it shows on there, but as soon as you put it onto white, and you can see that gold come through. Doesn't that look absolutely beautiful? Now what we've got is we've got a couple of ways of doing this. I want to trim that out, and I've got myself a circle die somewhere. Here it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the bit I want to cut out. Now, like I say, if I was trying to be careful, I would do a couple of these at one go. And I would, be able to find different spaces. And actually, you could be doing smaller little projects. What I want to do is take that, and I want to cut through the pattern and the vellum and the white at the same time. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to use my smaller plates, that's all. like I was saying, if I was trying to be careful, I would maybe do the whole sheet, and I would do more than one cut at once. But there we go. So I've got this onto here, making sure that's where I want it to be. I'm just going to put a couple of bits of tape, one just there to hold that down, and one just there to hold that down. Right, now I'm going to grab my plate, but I'm not going to use all my plates. I'm going to use a cutting plate. I'm going to use a plastic shim, and I'm going to use my other cutting plate. I'm not using my magnetic shim, and I hope it'll be enough. Oh. Yes, let's cut through. So what we've got is we've got our circle, and we've got our vellum. Let's lift that off. There we go. Doesn't that look amazing? Look at those colours. Greens and golds, pure Christmas. And that's going to go on there. Now, I'm going to do this slightly different to my last one, my prep one. I'm going to actually tape it down. Now, I'm using a dotty tape pen because it's vellum. Now, we actually have the ink on it, so a lot of adhesive wouldn't show. But just to be on the safe side, what I could have actually done is stuck it down before I die cut it. That would have probably made a lot more sense, Corrine. But there we go. We think of these things afterwards. Let's put that on there. And you cannot see the adhesive through there at all. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to tap it with my anti-static bag. Make sure I've got no bits on it. Then I'm going to get my, definitely want my stamping platform. I'm going to pop it onto here, and I've got a stamp. Now this is quite a large stamp. It says have yourself a merry little Christmas. Again, I think it stamps by me. Pretty certain it stamps by me. You know me, I have a lot of that. Actually, I can feel gritty bits on there. Let's just brush those gritty bits off from the adhesive bag, the static bag, and then we can put, now this is about as big a stamp as I could get on this circle. There we go. We're going to put that, pick that up. And then we're going to go in with our pigment ink. Remember, I've said on previous ones, if you want to stamp onto vellum, then pigment ink is often the way to go. So I'm going to do at least 3 stamps. I'm saying that before I've even touched my stamp to my vellum. 1. Let's try there. So this is just a gold pigment ink. You could do it with a clear pigment ink and a gold embossing powder. You could do it with a gold pigment ink and clear embossing powder. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it with a gold pigment ink and gold embossing powder. So you can mix the golds and the clear in as many ways as you want. It's not showing up too much yet, but that's just because it's the ink on the vellum. But don't worry. Again, it's another one of those, trust the process. And then, oops, I think it's coming through. Pretty certain it's coming through. There we go, pressing nice and hard. Again, if you've got your pressure tool for your stamping. It's getting a bit mucky, but it still does what it needs to do. There we go. Right, I can see that. I don't know if you can. If I lift that up. Oh, look, can you see when that catches? Hopefully you're catching that. So that's going to go on there. And then I had a piece of white paper. I lose everything. Let's do it this way. Back on my mat. Trying to work reasonably quickly. Oh, I've got some embossing powder here, some gold embossing powder. Let's pop that over the top. And then tap that off. And because, oh look, this is better than the one I did in my prep because I've used a better gold powder. Isn't that brilliant? Right, let's just lift that off. Let's be organised. Right, so I'm going to bring that in. Heat gun. I need poker tool. And then I'm just going to warm that up. Now, it's on vellum, so I'm going to do it on my lowest heat setting. And I'm going to really let it go slowly and heat it up. I don't want to scorch my vellum. Look at this. Isn't this absolutely amazing? Right, once it starts to turn, let me see if I can lift it up a little bit so you can see. Once it starts to turn, it just turns so quickly. This is quite a glittery embossing powder, so it will take a minute to... it's going now, it's going. It's there, it's on the turn. Just takes a minute. I'll start on here. Come on. I can see that going now. Right, there we go. I had to apply a lot more heat than I really wanted to, but actually it's a much better result for being already attached to the card. So this is the one I did last night, and I used a different embossing powder. Can you see? It was a lot paler. It's there, but I really like this one with the darker. That one could have been, maybe had a bit too much red, so I think I'm going to go with this one. Now, the other thing I have done is I have taken an embossing folder. Now I have a little wallet of a few bits. I don't know where this has come from. I don't know whether it was a really old Crafter's Companion way before I did. I don't know. And all I've done is I've embossed it onto some green card. And then this is going to sit on to there. So this is why I picked that size circle, because it fits perfectly inside that frame. So let's pop that onto there. Now, do I want that flat or do I want that raised? I'm going to go flat. I'm going to go flat. Let's put that onto there. That's going to go, make sure I get it straight. Let's make sure that is straight. So we've got all the brands here, haven't we? All the brands. You'll see that when I'm crafting, it really does. So I hope you're already starting to think about your Christmas crafting, because it doesn't have come around quickly, doesn't it? You think you've got loads of time, and then all of a sudden it's here. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to put that over the top. Let's put that over, where can I put that? I'm going to put that there with my water bottle on top while I just do the next layer. So the next layer is a 7-inch card. I've not had to trim down, and I've popped, look at that, I've got used the gold from in there. You'll see why in a minute. And I'm going to put gold and white on to here. I don't know why I was looking at which way it was up there, because there's nothing on here that dictates up and down, but there we go, we still do. There we go. I haven't heard, are any of you lovely crafters going to the NEC to do the crafting show? Lovely to see people there. Please do say hello if anybody is there. I'm going on Friday the 1st with a friend, so that'll be a lovely day. Trying to see if I can get a few people there, which would, like I say, would be really lovely. But anybody that can make it, it'd be great to say hello. I'm just going to turn this over. I'm just going to give that a good burnish. There we go. Oh, that's taken that. Okay, so now we've got the first layer, well, the first 2 layers, and then we've got this layer. So I think I might put that on with a little bit of foam tape. Big roll out as per usual. Honestly, that's my first roll of the Sticks 2 one. It just, because it's thin, it looks like a big roll, and it is a big roll, but because it's thin, it doesn't get smaller quickly. It just goes on forever and ever. 2. There we go. And then that. Oops. There we go. Take all the backings off these. And a little bit of glue. Move that out of the way. Now this technique would look amazing on birthday cards, anniversary cards. It doesn't have to be Christmas, but it's just about using the putting the alcohol onto the vellum and then stamping over the top. I just think it looks absolutely brilliant. There we go. Isn't that so effective? That corner's not stuck down. There we go. Now you could virtually finish there. I've got a few bits that are pre-made. I use a couple of poinsettia dies, you can see here, and they've gone a bit flat overnight. This medium-sized one, the large one, and a repeat of the large one in gold. And that's going to come, let's go to there where there's a bit less sentiment. And then all I did was I thread some stamens through the centre, and I actually used 3D glue gel there because I didn't have my hot glue out, but actually that's not holding it right, so I'm just going to peel that off. And I've got my hot glue gun very hot. It's been going the whole time I've been talking to you for doing this. I'm just going to, let's just melt that down again and put that into there. Put a little bit of hot glue on the back of there. That should, come on. That's better. I'm just going to stand that on there then if it drips. I'm just going to give that a second. So while I've done that, I have also cut some green foliage. I cut it out of a different green so that it would show up. And I cut out some gold. Got caught in the glue gun. So I've got two lots. Now, I've worked out that I need to go gold first and put the green on the top because otherwise you don't see the green. So let's come down with that one here. And I think this one I need to trim down a bit because it still goes in this, it goes in the same direction as the other. So let's put that there. Yeah. Actually, yeah, bring that down. I might trim a little bit off that one too. Yeah, there we go. And then the other thing I've got is I've tied a couple of little bells onto some string so we can put those dangling down. And the final bit I've got is I've got some of these little, what do you call them? Little baubles. I think they're like if you can crush them really easily, so they're like a plaster maybe or something. They do break, so you just have to be careful with them. I'm going to do one short and one long. I've got a green one as well. Not sure if I want to, what I want to use. So I've just laid those roughly onto there. I can still see my sentiment, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a big blob of glue on the back of my poinsettia, much bigger than you think you'd need, and then I'm just going to catch all of that together behind the poinsettia. There, just like that. Then I'm going to pop the baubles in like that. Let's use that one just there, and that one. Now that's not catching all the way, is it? I just need to get a little bit, oh it is, it's just needed for the glue to dry. Let's do that one. Let's put a bit of glue onto that, and then I can put that onto there. Look at that. So I did tie myself a little bow out of thread, just using my bow maker, and then I put a blob of glue on the back to hold it. I don't know, do I want that to tuck under here somewhere? Yes, I might do that. I might just put a little bit of glue on the back of there, and then lift that up. And where's my tweezers gone? I'll use those tweezers because they're to hand. And then just thread it under there. There we go, just so you get that hint of the bow. And then all I would do is, I found some really shiny, don't ask me where these came from. I think they might actually be hunky-dory. I might be totally talking wrong, but I think they might be. Let's just put a couple of, let's follow some of the snowflakes onto there, and then we can just put a couple of gems just in the centre, some of those snowflakes, a middle-sized one just on there, followed by one small one. Oh, I need one more. There we go. And that is the first of my next batch of Christmas cards. What do you think? So this is all about alcohol, pens or inks onto your vellum, and then just using it to decorate up and make a lovely Christmas card. What do you think of that? I think that is absolutely gorgeous. Really, really pretty. I love using the little red pop of red. I think it's better than if I'd used that one. You can see the sentiment better on that one. But also I think it's really nice to have the red as a contrast, no red in the background. But there you go. How about that? So that is the next batch of Christmas projects started. So yes, please let me know how you're getting on with your Christmas projects. I'm nosy. I just want to know how everybody's doing. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please don't forget to click on the links down at the bottom. It really does help me, as does my Buy Me a Coffee page. I really appreciate all of your support. It's so important to me. But most of all, please don't forget to click on the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the forthcoming videos. There you go. All right then, for now, goodbye. Can't wait to see you again soon. Enjoy your crafting, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye for now.